My brother, who studies industrial engineering, recently introduced me to the term. It's Japanese for continuous improvement or change for the better over time. In engineering, they use Kaizen as a method to build better working whatever. It's just that the change has to be clear and the improvement has to be ongoing. We as humans often use Kaizen as more of a self-destructive method rather than introspection. We're trying to improve, but we don't know what improvement we're looking for. I realized the consequences of continuous improvement very early on. As a first grader, I remember wanting to cut hair off my arms, legs, brows. I cut my own bangs once, and it didn't really turn out that well because I had a bald spot on my head for 4 months. I remember wishing I was blonde, so the peach fuzz on my face wouldn't be visible when I pressed it against the bathroom mirror. All this time I spent thinking about ways to look like everyone else, that time could have been used, say, playing with Barbie dolls. Barbie dolls, 2 words that bring a certain mental image to your mind, right? Thin waist, super long legs, platinum blonde hair, blue eyes. This is every child's concept of perfection. And it's this mold that we try and improve into. But is this really improvement? This is Valeria Lukyanova. She's famous for taking numerous surgeries on her body to try and look exactly like Barbie, and I think it looks pretty successful. Even in her own words, it was that Barbie was created to be the human idol, and it's this human idol that we all look up to. But if Barbie was a real person, she would be 5'6", weigh 120 pounds. Her body fat would be so low, she wouldn't be able to menstruate. Her measurements would be 38, 18, 34. But I want you to look around you. Think of the women in your real life. An average woman's size is 41, 34, 43. How do we blame people for thinking like this? It's because we already have this image in our minds that this is what we should look like, so those numbers don't matter anymore. Now, I realized early on, as I said, that I wanted to look like this, but I don't think I could really look like this. So as Valeria Lukyanova said, it's the human idol, right? So from a very early age, we think that this is what we should look like. And I caught myself thinking this way while taking selfies. My generation is one where we take about 100 selfies in an hour, and then a few seconds later, we'll just delete all of them, because they don't look like the image we have in our minds of perfection. And after realizing that I wasn't being in the moment, I was pretending to be in the moment and taking photos, all my pictures on Instagram seemed like a lie. It felt untruthful to say, everyone's beautiful, feel comfortable in your own skin, don't be ashamed, because I was ashamed when the picture I took didn't turn out to be the way that I wanted it to be. I didn't feel beautiful after each picture. I didn't feel like I was continuously improving. Kaizen in action. I didn't feel beautiful, I felt diseased. But we put up with this disease all our lives. I mean, look at all the ploys that media puts on you. The 20 Beautiful Women challenge on Instagram, where a woman would get tagged, and then she would have to tag another 20 beautiful women that she thought she had. Or the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. I agree that these are 2 important topics we should bring attention to, body acceptance and ALS. But the true benefit that was taken out of these was that you felt like you contributed to something. You felt like you fit the mold provided to you. In a recent Newsweek article, it was said that looking good isn't just vanity, it's economic survival. Keyword, survival. When Darwin came up with survival of the fittest, it was that over time, the ugly ducklings of our species, the ones with the bad genes, would be removed, thus continuously improving the species. Now, this survival of the fittest, this continuous improvement, this Kaizen, was introduced into science, but was Darwin as self-conscious as we are today? Today, humans will try butt lifts, boob jobs, muscle implants, waist reductions, to try and not be left behind by society. Each chisel at our bodies, each resize is considered an improvement. Why are we doing this? Whose child are you? Are you your own unique DNA, or are you the offspring of a piece of painted plastic? Well, after realizing all of this, I understood that I had to go back and find what the answer to this is, because it can't be so superficial. There has to be a reason why we're thinking this way. Why do we think Barbie is this, and why do we continue to do it, continue to improve into this mold? Well, first off, I had to understand, where does it start? In a recent study done in 2004, that's not really recent, in 2004, a group of middle-aged schoolgirls were shown a Barbie doll, and they reacted saying, "Oh my God, Barbie!" right after they said that, nah, I don't care about Barbie. Because they realized in their minds, subconsciously, that this is perfection. And then they said, Barbie is a positive role model. She is the exemplified version of perfection. Now, can we blame these girls for thinking this way? Or should we be blaming everyone around these girls for thinking this? I believe Cooley's looking glass theory might have some answers to this. Cooley's looking glass says that how we think we are is not from how we see us in the mirror, but rather it's how we think others see us. So our self-perception is solely dependent on how we think others see us. But it gets a little more twisted than this. In January 2015, a group of women were asked to rate how much they cared about their body weight. Those who ranked their body weight as most important to them actually dealt with rejection in their relationships by accepting their bodies more. Wait, what? Now, I could be standing here all day and going back and forth about whether Cooley applies or not, but understanding Cooley's words mean that we cannot blame people for getting alterations, because as paradoxical as it sounds, it's because of us that they're getting these alterations in the first place. And as long as we're addicted to Kaizen, this will continue. So, being the hippy-dippy that I am, I've since then been set out to cure my Kaizenitis. And I did so by starting to post photos of me doing silly, stupid things, in action, being in the moment, not pretending to be in the moment. I found an exponential increase in my happiness because I was really showing myself as the happy person people described through their looking glass about me. And then it translated into saying that I was being more compassionate to myself, but to everybody else, because I made my own truthful version of Kaizen. And I had accepted that I would not be a finished, painted piece of plastic that's sold on shelves. I'd accepted that, and I was fine with it. And after not only posting these pictures, I started encouraging other people to do this as well. And we started having more fun instead of sitting there and cropping and editing photos over and over and over again and then not posting any of them. And maybe if we continue to do this and find our own truthful version of Kaizen and continuous improvement for us so that we build ourselves rather than set ourselves up to look like Barbie, maybe we can live up to the positive reality that Kaizen was meant for, the definition that my brother told me. The same brother who really doesn't like in-action photos of him napping. And together we found a quote by Ernest Hemingway that really translates to how we should be going about Kaizen and really improving ourselves. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your former self. So I encourage you not to base yourself and destroy yourself through the viewfinder of a camera. I encourage you to be noble. Have more moments to share than pictures. Then maybe we can have a Barbie doll that looks like me. Thank you.